I originally, I was doing journalism. I wrote for the Kentucky Kernel, covering sports at the University of Kentucky. And I worked for the Bourbon Review, writing for them about whiskey, which was nice. And then I wanted to do sports writing. And that's when I got into the sports broadcasting, and I worked at a local news station in Cincinnati, helping with the sports broadcast. And I decided that I wanted to try to be a sports agent. That's why I went to law school, and because there just wasn't a lot of career growth opportunities in print journalism, which is what I was focusing in. So I want to be a sports agent. I came here, I got an internship at a small law firm, which I really enjoyed and learned a lot, and that individual did some sports agency stuff on the side. Jacksonville's not a huge sports agent market, especially with Miami so close and Atlanta so close. So I did with him a little bit, and I kind of saw the inside of how sports agency works, and it's different than what meets the eye. It's a little more, wasn't quite as for me as I had anticipated it would be. And that individual who I was interning with also primarily did personal injury. Now he only does personal injury, so I got into that. From there I worked at another firm, and then a few years ago I came here, and I've been doing personal injury my entire law school career, internship to present. Getting in a car wreck, especially one that causes injuries, is going to pretty much derail your life, if at the very least for a day, at the very most for the rest of your life. But for that moment, car wreck is something you highly want to avoid. The best way to avoid that, I guess, would just be being a prudent driver, driving safely, checking your surroundings, paying attention to what's going on. Because even if someone hits you and it's their fault, there's a chance that you could contribute to that, and one of those factors we see a lot of is texting and driving. So that's one thing I would definitely avoid. Playing with the radio, avoid that. Everyone's guilty of it. Everyone looks at their phone from time to time. I get that. It is what it is.
Well, the downside is just so much greater than people realize unless they've been in it.
Right. The problem, and it's also becoming cliche. Don't text and drive. Don't text and drive. You hear it so much, you kind of become numb to it. But you really do need to take a focus on that and admit that this is something that should not be done. We have a lot of clients that are injured by people that they know the keywords text and drive, so they won't say that to the police, but they'll say, I was looking down, or I wasn't paying attention, or the sun, I was looking wherever. In my mind as an attorney and as just a human in 2018, you were probably texting or looking at your phone. Well, that's one of the main things I like about Farah and Farah. Like I said, I've worked at two small firms before this. So I've seen the pluses, the advantages of going to a small firm for a client, and I've seen the negatives of that as well. I really enjoy working at Farah and Farah, which I think when the staff enjoys working here and the employees enjoy working here, I think that's going to translate down to the client as well, because after all, representing them is your job. And when you enjoy your job, you're going to do it better. It's good for everyone. There's a lot of brainstorming. There's a lot of continuing education they do here. They're always teaching. We're always trying to run as efficiently as possible. There's kind of a misnomer that going to a big firm, you're going to get less attention or you're going to get less personal care or that kind of thing. But I can say from experience working at two popular area small law firms that most people have probably heard of, along with Farah and Farah, that there's not really a big difference. The only difference here is we're bigger, but that's not diluting the amount of time of attorney to client. It just means we have more attorneys. But with that, we also have a lot more resources. We can do a lot more for the client. When I first started, I thought I'd always work at a small firm. This is the way I want to practice law. This is the way I want to represent clients. And the small firms kind of instill that in you. And it wasn't until I came to work at Farah and Farah that I realized there's no difference, really. If anything, it's better for the client, in my opinion, to go to a larger firm.